We're just hot dummies.
Mel, between the two of us, we make one well-informed reader.
That's true. And that's part of our charm. I'm Melody Carlisle.
And I'm Sabrina Bradley.
And this is Heaving Bosoms. This is the podcast where best friends recap romance novels and other kissing media that makes us swoon, snark, and refills our cups.
Whether you've read the book or are coming in blind, we'll lay bare every delicious scene and revel in the tropes and subgenres that make romance amazing.
All right, listener, strap in and strap on. Headphones are highly recommended. Okay, wait, can I tell you a story really quick?
Absolutely.
So as I was getting ready for episode to come record, Michael was like, don't worry about bedtime. I'll do all of bedtime. Just go to your recording. And I was like, oh, that's so wonderful. So I'm like getting my snacks and my drinks and stuff. And from upstairs, I hear Ember go, hey, Dad, how do you spell I cup? And Michael was like, what? He's like, how do you spell
Shut
I cup?
Up. That's still a thing?
Apparently.
Wow.
It is in the second grade comedy circles, you know?
Wow, that makes me feel ancient.
I know, but it was so cute because Michael was like, hold on a second. I know what that is. And then just like hearing them all crack up upstairs and having him explain it to Valor because she can't spell yet. Like, yeah. So we're here to recap this, incredible Katrina Jackson book, Grand Theft New Year's Eve. But first, we have to shout out a bunch of people that have joined the Patreon. They are now our patrons. Hello.
Patrons.
We're super, super thankful for you. So, hello there, Sarah and Cass.
And Elise S. and Maria M.
Taylor T. and Natalie C.
Jessica P.S. and Alice L.
Roya, and then Wink in the Gun. I'm not going to do initials because that's just awesome. Wink in the Gun. Go ahead.
Faith, Colleen M.
Kaliandra H. and Sarah. Oh, wait, no. I put both Sarah and Cass are in there again.
All right, Sarah and Cass, you get double hellos, apparently.
There you go. I don't know how that happened. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for being part of the Patreon. We're just so
that you
happy.
Like the unhinged shit that you've been getting lately.
Oh my God. Yeah. And we hope that you like the sheer volume of content that we have been putting on the Patreon because apparently Sabrina and I as a team can't be stopped. Anyway, okay. Now we can't delay any further.
No, I can be stopped.
How can you be stopped?
I'm reading a book like every third day right now.
Are you?
I'm not going to call it a slump, but I don't know what to read next. And so okay, hang on. I say every third day. I have read 3.5 V.K. Ludwig books since Friday. So that's significantly faster than every third day. But it feels like it to me because I'm having to think about it. I'm like, do I want to read the next book in this series right now? Or do I want to hop onto something else? Because
oh my gosh.
To be clear, though, Eloisa James was my 365th book of this year.
That's awesome. Yeah. I've been in a twisted hole for the past few days.
I'm sorry,
I've been reading the entire Twisted series by Anna Huang. So
is that the one I've been seeing on social media?
Yeah, it's
all
everywhere.
Over the place?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I had already read Twisted Love, which was the first book. And then since then, I found it on Hoopla. All the audio is on Hoopla. And so I've just been devouring those.
Is this like same couple multi-book, or is this interconnected standalone?
These are interconnected friends. It's 4 friends who then start banging, people around town. And like one of them's a royal. Right now I'm reading the Royal Bodyguard one. It's a fun times. And it's also kind of a feat. Oh shit, this was going to be my lady love. It's also kind of a feat because I don't really like alphas, as everybody knows. But for some reason, Anna Huang's alphas work for me. Okay, but we have to talk about another alpha who's like, he's like alpha light, Don't you think? Don't you think he's alpha light? Kind of.
I'll be honest, I really struggle putting Robert in a box.
Yeah, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mr. Shimizu cannot be boxed, okay?
He's also a horny bastard. Both of the characters,
oh my God,
frankly, in this book. Melody, this book is so horny.
Listen, this is a Katrina Jackson joint. And that is what you get. And it is fantastic. Yeah. So we're here to recap this, incredible Katrina Jackson book, Grand Theft New Year's Eve. Is that right? Grand Theft New Year Eve?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Listener, so Mel and I picked this book. This was not a 5-star, but we did it for New Year's Eve, right? It's our New Year's book this year. Mm-hmm. We didn't really know what we were walking into. I also suddenly realized I thought I had read a lot of Katrina Jackson.
Yeah.
Apparently I have not, because I was not prepared for how fucking horny from get this book was.
Oh, yeah. That's one of the things I love about Katrina Jackson books. It's a great brand. I'll tell you that much. Yeah. And actually, so I thought that this was part of the Spies Who Loved Her series because I've read, I think, most of those. And I think I've actually talked about them on Patreon too. But it's like in the same universe.
This is definitely some kind of a spin-off novella, though, based on that.
Yeah.
Or not novella, but like short novel.
Epilogue.
Yeah, based on the epilogue. It's definitely based on something, because like in the epilogue,
it's definitely same universe. Yeah,
they were talking about like these 3 characters. Like I had any idea who the fuck they were. And you want to know what, Mel?
You got to read the whole thing.
Dinky little brain.
You got to do it. You have to. This is how this works. And this is one of, Katie says it all the time. One of the best things she ever did was like make her universe start, eating its own tail or whatever. Mm-hmm. Put all of your books in the same universe, different series.
That's what I'm looking for right now. And I think that's why I'm not finding I'm not finding something that scratches the itch that has me like going down a rabbit hole right now. I want something where it's like, I want multiple series that are all inside of the same universe, and they're not directly like actively influencing each other, but like
right.
They kind of touch on each other.
They might play.
Yeah.
Well, so the 3 people we meet in the epilogue are from Pink Slip, and it is married spies who then like finally give in to their shared love of their assistant. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I am intrigued, but I'm just God, but like I'm just not in the mood for a contemporary.
I know. I will say my favorite of the Spies Who Loved Her series is Private Eye, because that is a spy and a cam girl that he like can't stop.
Fucking rabbit hole now.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so good. It's one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. And a lot of her couples end up being, well, maybe not a lot, but enough of her couples that I remember it end up being Black women and Asian men, just like this one today, because we've got Robert Shimizu and Cleo, right? Or just Cleo, as she says to him.
Just Cleo.
And he's like, okay, just Cleo. Absolutely. And she is the head of a theft ring. She thieves stuff all over the place. Interpol has called their group an international menace, which I really loved. So the book starts off in May.
She's also the hottest motherfucker. Like,
wow. She's got charisma for days, and apparently a pussy that's a black hole.
Oh my God. It just don't stop.
You get sucked in and you can't get out.
You
want her for the rest of your life.
Cleo rolls up into this like big fancy event in like May or whatever, or like May or June.
It's a Kentucky Derby event.
Yeah, whenever that happens. And she is essentially, she already knows who her target is.
Oh, yeah.
But she's like creeping on all the people. She's like, maybe I'll hit them next year. Maybe I'll do a heist next year on those people. Love a man with more sense than more sense than sense or whatever. Like she's making some sort of punny thing.
Yes,
and like she is described as a 5'10" thick bitch with a size 11 shoe and an ass that made grown adults' mouths water. Fitting in would be a tragedy when she looked this good. And I was like,
yes.
Oh, wow, golly. I would. Yeah, this book,
I'm here for it. I'll tell you that much.
the queer in me in this book was like, yeah.
All of me. It's very on high alert. Absolutely. And she's got a different wig in like a different color for every job. And this one I think is a
nobody recognizes
wig, right?
her because of it in any of her shit.
I just saw the funniest reel or TikTok or something, and it's a couple who create content together. She's a black woman, he's a white man, and it was a reel that was like, you know, when my wife changes up her hair or something like that, and she'll like walk into the kitchen, you get her, and then you'll see him go blah, like it's a totally different human, and it's just that shot over and over again every time she gets a new weave. It's incredible, or wig. It's so good.
I love that.
I know, it was really
cute.
It's
also true. I am sitting here being like, all she does is change her. No. I look at like myself with old haircuts even, or a wig on, and I'm like, who's that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who are you?
So anyway, they're sort of Robin Hoody, not really. They don't give to charity or anything, but they only go for like rich.
They only steal from the rich, but like in the book, it is stated that like it's not like we're doing Robin Hood shit, right? Like this is for us.
Yes. No, it is for them. I just mean more like they're
stealing
only
from the
going
rich.
After.
And
like they're eating the rich.
Obscenely rich. Yeah. Like they're.
Yeah.
Well, so like they're at this thing specifically to get on this guy named Frank Pugh III.
Oh, God.
And he. P.U. Am I right?
I see what you did there, Katrina.
Well, Mel.
What?
I'm not proud of this.
Uh-oh.
Do you know how long it took me to understand the Jessica Hare joke?
I didn't understand it until you just said it out loud.
Usually you're the one who referred to what's her butt from CC
as Jessica Rabbit. Oh my God. I didn't even think about it. No, because you know what? I was having to motor through this thing before I did school pickup. And so I was like, that's got to be funny for some reason. Don't think about it. Keep going. When you said it out loud, just now it clicked.
It took me forever to figure it out because they made a big deal about it in the book, right? And I was like...
But they also only mentioned that her wig is bright red like once. And it's easy to miss. That's why she's Jessica Hare. Because she's got a bright red wig. Which makes her a Jessica Rabbit, just like Bryce Quinlan.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
I did finally understand the Jessica Rabbit thing. I did completely miss that she's wearing a red
hot
wig.
Dummies. We are just hot dummies.
Mel, between the two of us, we make one well-informed reader.
That's true. And that's part of our charm.
I think one of my favorite things is when we realize things live on pod. But like
it is very fun.
When we can see the dawning light in the other person's eyes as we're like saying this thing that we're like, well, duh. And then the other person's like,
oh.
Interessante.
So anyway, she's going straight for this poker table in the back because that's where Frank Pugh is. And she has to like sidle up to him close enough that her like device can do a copy paste on his credit cards
RFID
and stuff.
You ready for a confession?
Yeah, tell me everything.
It's another. Oh, actually, I have a thing to let you know, and also a confession.
Uh-oh.
I don't understand how RFID stuff works. I really don't. People are like that. You can just steal. They can steal your information, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm taking that risk. Like,
no, totally. I don't. I don't have one of those
magic.
blocker wallets. I'll tell you that much.
I don't either. So like, the only thing that is blockery is one purse that I have, and it's specifically my traveling purse, and it's because I don't want my. But to be clear, my wallet doesn't go in that. It goes in my inside jacket pocket.
So, you dingus.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But
maybe we'll rethink that next trip.
We got another money laundering email.
No, we did. Okay, well, stay tuned, listener. I might understand it by the next episode you hear. I might understand money laundering.
While I was reading the email, I was thinking to myself, Mel might understand this one.
What? Incredible.
It's
okay.
Not to make any slights against your intelligence, because I do think that you're a very intelligent person, right?
Yeah,
I just do
in some
think
ways,
that
sure.
Understanding money laundering is your white whale. And it needs to be the biggest whale, like an unavoidable whale. It needs to be like, this can't be you looking at it going, is that actually a dolphin? No, like this is.
No, that needs to be a planet-sized whale.
Yeah.
Is what we need to do.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know that I would call this planet-sized, but it's definitely like asteroid-sized, right? Like large asteroid-sized.
I'll take an asteroid.
I think you might get it.
Hell yeah.
Anyway.
Do you think that Jessica Hare understands money laundering? She totally does.
I think Jessica Hare.
She understands everything.
Is a hot smarty, right?
She is.
Like we cannot compare.
Yeah.
We cannot
Cleo's
compare with
smarty.
Jessica Hare. Like,
oh no. Yeah. Okay.
Any hoodles.
So as she gets up on this guy sitting on the arm of his chair, and he's like, "Hey, sweetie, what do you think about my cards?" And then he starts fighting with another dude at the table. She looks across the way at this just tall drink of water. Oh, he's hot. And he's got some salt and pepper in his hair, I think. And his hair is just past his shoulders, which was very important to me, Melody. And he was the only one at the table that had a real serious poker face. And he was paying no attention to her.
I know for a fact that I have the description of him highlighted, so I was looking for it to read it. I did, in fact, instead of finding that one, did come across the highlight that says everything about how she looks, including her fire engine red wig.
Oh,
so
there you go.
I did definitely read it because it is highlighted.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here it is.
Find his. Yeah.
There was something intriguing about a man so in control of himself that she couldn't fully distract him. She didn't like it, but she did find it interesting. The tall Asian man's long hair reached just past his shoulders, and the faint shadow of his beard made him look slightly disheveled and maybe even a bit dangerous. Cliche on top of cliches, but Cleo was into the look. A lot.
Oh, yeah.
Me too, Cleo.
Yeah, Cleo, we're with you.
But it was his long, thick fingers that made her do something she never did while working. She momentarily lost focus. 1 minute, she was casing the poker table, and the next minute, she was running her teeth along her bottom lip, imagining the man's fingers playing with the strip of her thong between her ass cheeks. She looked up, and her eyes clashed with his. His face was even better full on. Sharp nose, intense dark eyes, and a calm that made her shiver. Okay, y'all. Okay, reading this book, though, Mr. Shimizu, I would be so intimidated by a man who kept his calm as well as this guy does. This dude is we'll get to it in the car on the way home from this evening, but I was reading it and I was like, I am very horny for this, but also I'd be so fucking intimidated by this cool as glass man who's just look
at you go.
I love that. Can I get a little bit of excitement? Do you actually like this? I need reassurance. Okay.
Do you look at people's hands?
Yes, it's the first thing I notice.
Yeah. I'm a hand person. I look at people's hands and I see what's going on.
I also look at their teeth.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because I was teased mercilessly about my teeth growing up, and so
no,
it's yeah. So
That's
now
mean.
I notice. And the worst thing is that like I don't have a problem with teeth, right? Like unless you're clearly unhygienic, in which case like it's your mouth. That's fine. I just don't want it on my mouth.
Sure.
But like I don't have a problem with teeth. I just immediately notice them, and then like I do notice hands, and I'm like, it's a nice hand.
I look at everyone's hands. Yeah. And I know a good hand when I see one. And I feel like Cleo's the same.
And to be clear, you might not guess that that's a good hand. But if you've had good experiences with a hand that looks like that, then you're like,
exactly.
That's a good hand. And people are like, are you serious? It's not even that nice of a hand. You're like, yeah, it is.
No. You know,
that's
you have no
nice
idea.
Hand.
You don't know what that hand is capable of.
If they put in even a smidgen of work, that's a good hand, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. Actually, let me tell you real quick. I occasionally go through phases where I'm, like swiping through the dating apps and like kind of creeping.
Sure.
The other day, this person had no profile, like no profile information. It was just pictures. I did fully swipe right on this person because they had nice hands. I was like, fuck.
Let me
even, like, it's not even forearm porn, but like just the hands were so nice. And like, if they match with me, I might unmatch them because I do not like it when there's no profile description.
Totally.
Like put in a little bit of effort. I want to like, I don't know, give me something to go off of, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gender neutral, man.
Yeah. I was going to say lowercase m man, but that's also
gender
could
neutral,
be gender.
Bruh. The fucking SoCal is coming out real hard right now.
For what?
Bruh and man. Like, dude.
No,
I am this close from duding. Like, I'm sorry. I try.
Those have been gender neutral for me forever. I've always called ladies like
I grew up with
I don't know why. Yeah.
Like, dude.
Yeah, that's certainly part of it.
Anyway.
So she scoops this guy's info with her fun gadget. And then she's like, my job here is done. And on her crew, there's like a bunch of different people, including her sister. And her little sister is out being a cater waiter.
Apparently Alex gets a book.
Yeah, I'm stoked about that. I'm stoked to see an Alex book. And it seems like she ends up in at least a throuple.
Yeah.
If not a more than that. Very excited about it.
I'm excited.
Anyway, so as she is leaving, the whole plan is that she does the start of it. And then when the security company and all of like the art or whatever is in like an exhibit that's like a pop-up exhibit in this guy's house, as soon as all of them leave, the crew is going to steal from the actual man. Loved this.
Can I say that I was shocked? I was shocked by who Robert was when we find out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so was Cleo. Yeah.
I'm not saying that Cleo and I are on the same level because, frankly, we're not.
I wouldn't go that far.
No, I don't think I'm even in the same, like, stratosphere, right?
Yeah.
I will say I did feel pretty good about myself that she also didn't have any idea who this person was.
Oh, okay. Okay. There we go. Yeah, you felt some camaraderie there when it came out of nowhere for you.
Put a little pat. Yeah, because like to be clear, I'm not as cool. I'm not as sexy. I'm not as well spoken. I'm not as intelligent.
Slick.
I'm not as charismatic.
Not as smart. I know.
To be clear.
And I don't have people who I have committed crimes against being like, but I will still marry her. Don't arrest her. Would like to talk her into marrying me. Nobody says that about me. Jeez.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Golly.
I don't think I'd get away with it long enough for them to fall for me, you know? Like, they wouldn't get the chance to fall for me and be like, I want to marry that one, because they'd immediately be like, that's a criminal. Like, they would immediately catch
you're not
me
as
out.
slick. You're not as cool. You're not.
Like,
I'm just doing ham-fisted crimes all over the place.
That's a criminal. To be clear, I would try. I need a very specific role on the team, and Cleo's role is not my role. The same way as what's her butt from the one mafia book, what thing? That's not my role either. I'm not a cash cow. Nope. A golden nugget. Nope.
A golden...
I don't know what that was.
Oh, from the player.
Yeah.
From the player by Cressley Cole. Isn't that a beaver of some sort? Is it a beaver? Is it a... oh, no. A honey pot? A honey trap?
Yes.
A honey badger. She's a badger. It's a badger, not a beaver.
But it's a specific...
She's a honey pot that turns into a badger.
Beaver? Nope, a badger.
Which I think is... So I think it's a honey badger.
She is a honey badger, but like that's not what the con is. The con... I think you're right with like...
the con is the badger.
Trap. No. The con
is the badger.
The badger, right?
Yeah, the badger. Yes. Yeah.
But the con itself is like called like a honey pot or a honey trap or something. I
don't think that's
keep an eye out.
I think the badger
friends.
Is the badger.
Get ready, HBs.
Wait till the Heaving Bosoms team starts badgering everyone, okay?
I feel like we do that already, just not in this context, right? Anyway.
So then she leaves because she's done and she can't bring any more attention to herself and she can't be seen like, with any associates or anything. So as she's waiting for her car out in front by the valet, she shivers. She does a big shiver in her beautiful dress. And behind her, she hears a low voice say, "Would you like to borrow my jacket?" And it's the guy from the poker table.
He followed her outside.
He had to. She's just magnetic.
He did.
Is what she is.
From his point of view, when it's his point of view, he's like, I had to follow her. I had to know more about her.
Mm-hmm. And then, so he gets his car and turns out she's a person who knows about cars. And apparently it is
you got to know which car to steal.
Jaguar E-Type Series 1 Roadster is what it is. None of that means anything to me, but apparently it's hot and a convertible. So then this is adorable because his move is to be like, do you want to warm up in my car? Meanwhile, the top is down on that bitch. So it's just open air. It's exactly like standing outside, but it seems like he's being gentlemanly. And
so she says to him, though, so you like speed? And he's like, I like to live life to the fullest. Sometimes that means I like to go fast. And she's like getting a little horny. We can feel his erection. And by we, I mean Cleo, because she's the only one lucky enough for this. And he's like, and sometimes that means I like to go slow. And she's like, I don't like slow. And he says, I didn't think you would. Not. Come home with me.
I cannot.
That would work on me.
I cannot.
To be clear.
Oh my God. I would, yes, absolutely. I would probably like stumble over my words, but I would also stumble over to that car, tell you that much.
Well, yeah, and so
one of the things she says about him is the way he carried himself said it all. His money was longer than his dick. She could feel it in her bones. Which is one of the funniest things, the funniest ways to describe like big dick energy plus having lots of money.
Well, and she's like, holy crap, this hottie with a disheveled suit and diamond cufflinks. Like, do I want to rob him or do I want to fuck him? Like, I don't have a plan for him.
And for the first time, it's teetering way more toward fuck.
Because usually she's like, I'll steal the fuck out of this dude's life. And she's
absolutely.
like, well, gonna listen to my pussy today.
And then she says, take me for a ride, she whispered against his lips. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So now we're in the car.
One of my other, really funny things. It says Cleo had been in plenty of expensive fast cars with rich men. And then she says he would be just a rich man child with a shiny, costly new toy. Been there, stole that. And the voice in this book is just so good. So
it's perfect.
Yeah, he's like, touch yourself, right?
No.
He's like, why don't you get started? Wait,
first, we learn his name. And right, and she's like, "What's your name?" And he says, "Robert." And she's like, "That's just so regular,
just so common." Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then she says, "I'm going to call you Mr. Shimizu."
Well, then he's like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "Cleo, just Cleo," because she does debate giving him her alias or her actual name, and he
Jessica
does.
Hare.
Yep, that's the name,
which we now understand.
And he says, "Okay, just Cleo, buckle up and let me take you for a ride." And she's like,
"Let me take you for that ride.
I'm gonna call you Mr. Shimizu," in her sultriest voice. Was that sultry?
That sounded sultry. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, you did it.
And he says, "Is that what's gonna get you off?" And she's
and then
like,
she says,
"For starters." And then
what?
He's, oh my God, I would love to tell. Okay, so my first car was a manual.
Yeah, same.
I still prefer a manual. Somebody who can drive a goddamn manual well, there is nothing fucking sexier. Like,
yeah,
because like you know that they're feeling the purr of that vehicle.
They're in tune.
They
with the
are.
You know what I mean?
And
like they're paying attention to every little cue.
You can rev my engine. And all I'm going to say is don't take this. This is terrible advice. Okay. But I will actually, this isn't advice. This is a hypothetical situation.
Okay.
What they're struggling with right now is they're getting horny, right?
Well, and he wants to look at her legs.
And she straight up starts to pull her dress up and touch herself.
Yeah.
Because she can't wait for him. And they do have a moment in the book where he's like, "Don't come.
Yeah.
Save it for me."
Yeah.
And they are cruising. And he's like, "I really wish I have one automatic vehicle. And I really wish that I had taken it out of storage tonight because this is a worthwhile reason to be driving an automatic so I can touch you at the same time." And just hypothetically.
Yeah, hypothetically. If you're going to have an automatic, that should be the reason. If
you drive a manual and you're someplace where your speed doesn't change, you don't have to speed mess around.
Yeah, there's times when you don't shift at all.
My friend. So like,
now you might not want to have your hand too slick to go back onto that shifter. That might
quitters talk
get tough. So as she's touching herself, he's like, "You're going to ask me when you can come. That's the only time you can come." And she's like, okay. So then it says he starts like going faster and faster.
He good girled her a bunch.
Not yet.
In this book.
Yeah, lots in this book. There was a lot of good girls.
And it worked.
There's also a lot of good girls in that twisted hole. It's yikes.
Boy.
Anyway, so then Cleo says she hadn't felt in a long time the exhilarating rush of so much dangerous possibility. And then by the time the small car closed in on 100 miles an hour, she was squirming in her seat. I'm going to skip down a bit. And so just think about this. I think she's in like a short gold dress, if I remember correctly. And she's got a bright red wig on. She's thick everywhere, just to put that beautiful picture in your mind. And then it says, this feeling was new and different, and she let it take over. Her head thrashed side to side in ecstasy as small orgasmic ripples began to radiate up from her clit to her stomach and the sensitive undersides of her breasts and down her thighs to her toes. Had a man ever gotten her off without touching her? Fuck no. Was she desperate to see what happened when Mr. Shimizu inevitably did? So much. And so I just imagine she's like not even touching herself, just like throwing her head around the passenger seat. Oh.
Wow.
I'm like, that's a Muppet. That's the way Melody would do it. Probably.
Oh my God. Oh
Cleo,
my God.
On the other hand,
the visual
is not a Muppet.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine the Muppet arms just like flailing?
She's so sexy doing it. And I'd be just like you. They'd be like, "I don't know how you're tossing your hair. It's not long enough for this." And I'm going to be like, "I'm going to make it work.
Watch me go."
Well, and okay. I will say, so Cleo and I are the same height. Okay.
Yes.
like, she's talking about how tiny this car is. I've been in these cars. Do you know how much you have to pretzel yourself?
I know. Those little roadster boys.
Like, I don't know how she got her knee up, because she does get her underwear off and then starts touching. Like, she, like, props her leg up, and I'm like, I need to start doing yoga again. What? Just in case. No. You know?
I know. Just in case.
Just
Always
in
be prepared.
Case. Oh, I'm not.
You got a Boy Scout it, Sabrina.
You would need me in the fucking, like, I'd need to be in the biggest goddamn full cab truck.
I need to be in a semi. Thank you very much.
Like, to get that leg up on that dash. Because, like, I know, I didn't Google this car, but I know what kind of car they're describing.
It's so tiny. It's so small. I know. I know.
Wow. But then, so then she's like, it's a good thing the seat is leather. And
he's just about to say that.
Yeah. And he's like, it's going to be very wet soon. And this is when, this is when he says the thing about wishing that he was in his automatic, like, this is a worthwhile reason to pull it out of storage.
And then when she takes off her underwear, he's like, give them to me. And then he puts them in her pocket. His pocket. He smells them.
Sniffs them. And then he puts them in his pocket. Why do I love that so much?
I mean, and then, spoiler alert, listener, he carries them around for 6 whole months, which really, I
forgot about that.
I know, right?
I don't know how I feel about that.
I know. I like love it, but also, and also, you know, like, I don't know. I love it, but also,
I'm gonna say is I feel bad for whatever maid accidentally washed those.
Oh my God. And the rampage.
And how mad he'd be like,
would
you
go on.
You're
fired.
These panties of that sweet, sweet pussy juice. How dare you? He would say it much more eloquently than that.
Or he would say it exactly the same way, but it would sound more elegant.
Somehow. It would sound so sultry. Like that phrase. Robert Shimizu could make the term pussy juice hot as fuck.
Oh, watch him go.
Wow.
Yeah, he could.
Boy, howdy. Boy, howdy.
So then he says, now where were we? He asked with an arched eyebrow. And she goes, you were driving fast as hell, and I was about to fuck myself with my hands for you. Ah!
Well, and then he tells her, I want you to tell me when you're close. Because when she first hears that, she's like, I don't let a man tell me what to do. And then she finds out that the reason is because he wants to be the one who gets her off every time. And so she's fingering herself, and he starts slowing down the vehicle, and she's like, I'm close. I'm so close. And he's like, I know, sweetheart. Just give me a second. And then he pulls the car into a dirt runoff, throws that bitch into neutral, and pulls that emergency brake up in the sexiest way. I did have to add that in the book because in my head, I was like, sir, you cannot be trusted to keep your foot on the brake right now.
Brake? Right.
And then he rips his seatbelt open and like half climbs over the center console, which like, logistics again.
Stop it. Nope.
This is a very small vehicle. I couldn't whimsy it.
So he...
like, I can whimsy a lot. Like, to be clear, I did whimsy this like almost a split second later, but I did have a second where I was like... But then...
he looms over her, right?
Yes, because that's what fixed it, is the way it's described, how he's like leaning over her, and then he takes over her... like,
oh boy,
fingering
her digital stimulation.
Wow. And then he says, does that feel good? And she's like, that's the dumbest thing you said tonight.
Oh my God.
And so then he is fingering the shit out of her and then tells her to feed him her fingers because I can't think of
the ones that have her pussy juices on.
Yep,
it,
I couldn't think of a different term. I was trying. I tried so hard, but it only got worse.
Where's our sixth thesaurus?
Yeah, I started coming up with worse terms, and I was like, we're leaving it with... I'm okay with slick.
Her honey. Her...
I would prefer slick to honey.
Fair enough. Oh, and then...
Although I'm not
she's like,
mad at honey either.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be honest. Confession time. In a scene like this, you can call it whatever the fuck you want.
Probably. Yeah.
Those lovely honey-covered petals.
No. Okay. Yep. That's maybe a bridge too far for me.
I don't give a fuck.
Sabrina's standing by it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I want those. Yep.
Oh my gosh, they could both hear the wet squelch of her pussy fighting to keep his hand inside
I just said
her.
You can say whatever you want. I literally just said you can say whatever you want.
Are you diving off your hill? Squelch doesn't work for you, Sabrina? Are you immediately going back on your word?
Tell me about her squelchy pussy juice in the sexiest way you possibly can, Mel.
All right, hold on. They could both hear the wet squelch of her pussy fighting to keep his hand inside her. Did it work?
So anyway.
Did I do it?
No. You didn't.
Well, after she squelches on him, he says, good girl.
Wait, yes, this is his, anyway, there's good girls in here. That's all that matters. While she is obscenely squelching, okay? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was made even more obscene the way he stared down at her, holding her gaze as if he didn't want to miss a millisecond of her pleasure, as if getting her off was serious business.
Serious business! Oh my God.
It was.
What?
Off the chain, like the business of vengeance.
No, it was not off the chain. You dickos. Don't bring Dark Lover into this beautiful space.
I told you that I'm gonna fucking do it randomly just to hurt you.
Yeah, you're really getting it. Okay, hold on, wait.
Then he says,
I want to read this one.
Girl.
I want to read. Yes. And then I want to read this one part. Because she says, there are orgasms and then there are life-changing moments between your legs. This orgasm was different. It was transcendent. Mm-hmm. And then when they pull up into the house, she says, kiss me.
Doesn't she also tell him to keep adding fingers this whole time?
Oh, yeah. And then he says, ask me nicely.
Half fisting her. Like,
yeah, it's hot.
Well,
she's
and
like,
then
give me another finger. And he says, ask me nicely.
I probably ruined your seat. And he's like, you just let me know when you are up for ruining the back seat.
Oh, my God. These two. Also, he does make her come so hard that she loses consciousness. And she wakes up being like, how long was I out? So now they're sitting in the car in his garage. And he says, how would you like to be punished? Because she asked for her first orgasm, but not her second one.
Did we miss that he's told her she had to ask for all of her orgasms?
Oh, I told listener that. Listener's in the know.
Okay.
Yeah. He says, what do you want your punishment to be? And she says, you're in charge. And he says, I am. Is that okay with you? And then she's like, I'm not sure yet, but I'll tell you if I change my mind. She does have 2 requests, though. 1, don't fuck up her wake. Don't do it. And 2, kiss me. And she can't believe that she asked him to kiss her. It's the best. So then they go inside. He immediately just takes her right up to the bedroom. And he's like, take all of your clothes off. Oh, no, that's not true. No. Her dress stays on.
Yes, because she's basically dressed for this whole thing, except for her panties. So they go upstairs there. So they were kissed, by the way, this is such a good fucking kiss. And I just have to comment that he was like,
has to take his seatbelt
don't
off
worry,
for it.
I'll be gentle. And she's like, don't. Ma'am. What?
I know.
Okay. So then we do go upstairs, and I did laugh because she is like, rich people are so unnecessary. Why do you have a bar in your room? Which, like, that's a mood, right?
Yeah.
Like, why do you need a bar?
You don't need that.
But also, let's get into some spanking. Because that's her punishment.
Yes, but first, he asks her if she wants a drink, and then she walks over to him and she says, unless the drink you're offering is your cum down my throat, I'm good.
Yeah.
Ma'am.
Wow.
Golly gee willikers.
I think my glasses are fogging. What?
Wow.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Get it.
Yeah. Well, and so then he is spanking her.
Oh, he's doing some spanks.
Tippity tap, boobity bop on her booty. And
he
then
says, is that okay? And she says, harder. And then he says, who's in charge? Answer me. And she says, you. And then he says, what do you say? And she goes, please spank me harder. Ooh.
There's a little bit of clit spanking in here too, which
yep.
I'm not mad about. And then when they're done, she gets on her knees in front of him and sexy times pulls down his pants. Can I tell you a thing?
Sure.
I had a sex dream one time. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Where I did this move essentially where I was pulling down somebody's pants and they gave me a bloody nose when it popped out. I'd been reading some really aggressive erotica for the last couple of days. And I was like,
that was your dream?
Yeah, that was a dream. It kind of killed the mood. To be clear, that dream did not end in a happy place because I did then have to get taken care of. Well, I guess it did end in a happy place because I love being taught and taken care of. So yes, please take care of the bloody nose that you caused with your monster cock. The fuck? Yeah. Anyway, so she then describes this. If she could have crafted her perfect dick, this is it. And I was like, you go, girl.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah, and then she blows him until he comes. And then...
And, hold on. Just a moment.
So I wasn't moving on yet.
Oh, good. She swallows a bunch of it, and then as he steps back, being like, oh my God, that was life-changing, she opens her mouth to show him the tiny bit of cum still left on her tongue before then swallowing it.
This book was dirty, y'all.
Wow.
Yeah, and then he's like, fuck, Cleo, and launches her onto the bed and then crawls after her. And wow. So then he's got her face down, ass up on the bed, and he's like,
yes,
desperation looks beautiful on her. So she's whining and begging him for it, essentially. And he's like, I can't make either of us wait any longer. And so he fucking goes down on her from behind.
Yeah.
And does a little bit more tippy tappy on the booty.
Yeah.
Sexiest way to describe that, right? So...
No, absolutely.
Yeah, then she's like, okay, we need condoms. And he goes and grabs a whole fucking brand new box of condoms. And it says that by the end of the night, they've used almost the entire box. This man's got great recovery.
Yeah, because he's also salt and pepper. I don't know.
He's a fox.
Not quite, but yeah.
But he could be.
Also,
he is by the end.
I don't know if this is a thing, but because it's not, but the book starts in May. And it ends in December. And I think she's younger and he's older. But he's not December older. But I still was like, is this a May-December romance?
Oh.
An age gap? I don't know. He's not that old.
Mm-mm. So they're exhausted. They're tired.
Yeah.
They pass out. It's the best night of Robert's life. And they're too tired to even spoon. And as the sun is coming up, they go sleepy bye. Well, guess what? She wakes up first. And she goes, I got to get the fuck out of here. So she
doesn't want to.
No, she doesn't. This was the best night she's ever had in her life.
Yeah. It's the first time that she's like, oh, shit. Normally I would be fine with just taking his goods and skipping out. But I kind of want to keep him. And I can't, because her crew includes her little sister
and 3 friends and
yeah. So she slips out. She steals,
jacks his watch and an ashtray of some kind,
a crystal ashtray.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was a thing.
And his car.
and she steals his car to go. Bye, she says.
And she just disappears off the face of the earth. Then, okay, so then we do have like a scene with her and her sister, right? Where her sister's like, oh, what the fuck? And she's like, maybe we should take a break. We should take a break from stealing.
Yeah, maybe we should pause the jobs for a bit. Except
for this one job that we're doing pretty fast and helter-skelter for New Year's Eve. It's a gambly gamble.
Because he wakes up and he's like, that was my father's watch. It's one of the only material possessions I have left of my father. And that was one of my favorite cars. But he thinks to himself, all he really wants back is her. Yeah. And so he's on a mission now, y'all. He is going to find out who this woman is. He's going to find out who just Cleo is.
Well, so then we find out he's the head of a security firm. He is the security firm.
He's the head of his security firm.
He's the head of the security firm that was there to keep the art safe at the night that they met. And, well, they did keep it safe as long as they did keep it safe because they did a great job. Pew's other stuff that wasn't the art.
And
like
he should have invested in a security system or company.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's been looking for her. He has been like calling every contact he possibly can. It took
4 or 5 months to even find a lead on her.
Like her last
International
name.
menace indeed.
Yeah. And so he's also piecing together all of these jobs that look like sort of similar and seem like, they might be that team. And he's like, this woman she's a magician, basically. Like, I don't understand. But he's like, I can't find her. I need to basically make a con artist catnip event to make her come to me. So he puts on a charity gambling tournament at a Miami hotel. And I feel like she knows.
No, there's no way she knows.
You don't think? Why do you think she needs to go to it so bad then?
I think because she's desperate to see him, but she doesn't know he put it on. She's been hoping, I think, that she sees him there.
Yeah, I think she thinks like maybe he'll be there is what I meant. Sorry.
Okay. I thought you were saying
that she knows he like directs it or whatever. No.
Yeah.
But she's also being like, hey, sis, like I want to do this, but then I kind of want to like quit for a while and like maybe for forever. And Alex is like, what, you want to retire? Like, are you talking about retirement? And she's like, no, totally not. We're just going to just take a break. And then they go to this thing. So she rolls up to the registration desk in a lavender wig, I think, maybe. And she's like, I want to enter the tournament. And they say, well, it's invitation only. And she's like, invitation or buy-in. And they're like, oh, do you have $100,000?
He shows up and says he'll take care of her buy-in. And then she is still standing there and he comes up and whispers in her ear, it's nice to see you again, just Chloe. How do you want to be punished?
I mean, and he's doing this from behind her. Like he says, I'll cover her buy-in, standing right behind her. And then he just like leans down into her ear to be like, how do you want to be punished? Then all he says for the next like 3 sentences they say to each other is, did you miss me? Oh my God, did you miss me?
Yeah, it was pretty great. Well, so then they're like, all right. She's like, are you going to arrest me? And he's like, no. But like, you should come
But you're going to come upstairs with me.
So she does. They get upstairs and they start hard making out in the
elevator.
Like, she's like, I'm going to fuck this man in this elevator.
Yeah.
But it's a fancy elevator. And so it goes zippity fast.
Right. So they don't have a chance.
Yeah. And then they're super horny for each other. He's got her lipstick all over his face. Yeah.
I know, her like foundation and lipstick. I just went past a highlight that I made that made me laugh really hard because also in between these times when he's looking for her, it says, in the meantime, Robert had been forced to use those security images to slake his thirst.
Jack off!
He's been jacking off to her grainy images on like a CCTV camera.
Bro, you have so many good memories. Why don't you just like use your imagination a little bit?
Oh my God. It is so funny to me. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh, wait, hold on. By the time he was pouring lube on the head, so he's like, I didn't plan to like download them. I didn't plan to take them to my bedroom. I didn't plan to like do any of that. I was just going to get some work done before bed. And then it says by the time he was pouring lube on the head of his dick, however, planning didn't matter. All he could feel was lust as he jacked himself off to those blurry images of the con artist he was methodically, albeit desperately, searching for. Like, oh, he's got it bad. Holy shit. So anyway, they go into this penthouse and he's like, sit down, business first, pleasure later, basically.
Uh-huh.
And so she's like, tell me what's going on. Is this a police situation? Mm-hmm. Like, are you gonna cuff me and take me downtown? And he's like, well, I mean, I'm not gonna do that, but I if you would like handcuffs,
if you want handcuffs,
I can do that. Yeah,
I have to make that happen.
Oh,
by the way, her people are in her ear during this whole conversation, and Alex knows a little bit that she like had a one night stand that she couldn't really stop thinking about, right? Well, so Robert says, I don't want to turn you into the police. And Marcus sings Pussy Be Yankin'. And Alex is like, shut up.
Shut up.
And so Cleo's like, pussy that good? And a small smile, and he's like, you know it is. But that's not why I don't want to turn you in.
Oh.
I want to use you.
Oh.
Sir.
And she's like, use me. And, you know, he's definitely thinking in that way. But then he says, I've been researching you and your team, and I want to use you to make my security company better. I want you to basically consult and make sure, like, you tell us where our blind spots are, essentially. And then she just keeps on giving him the runaround, like not giving him details about her team or anything else. And he says, I just want you to stay with me. It's like so sweet.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. He's saying sit.
One of my
and she
favorite.
Goes, yeah.
Well, so
no,
like
go ahead.
During this whole scene, like, you're right. So he's like, come here. And she's like, sit, come. Man, I'm not a dog. And so she's up and pacing around. While she's pacing around, I could visualize this so intensely because I fucking love this pose. He is sitting in his chair with his head propped up on his fist, just watching her. Why is that pose so sexy?
And he's got that straight man splay-legged thing happening, you know?
Taking up all the spreading thing. Golly.
Oh, boy. Oh, and he shows her that he's been holding her underwear for 6 months.
And she's like,
yowza.
To be clear, are those mine? And he's like, yeah, they are.
He says, I threw this party to get you here, but not so I can turn you in. I want you to tell me how you plan to work a party like this and all the other ways you might run a con here. And then I want to know this to, like, do my job better. So he says, like, you know, sit and then come here. And she's like, sit, come, I'm not a dog. And then he goes, you're not. And that's not how I want to make you feel. She says, how do you want to make me feel? And he says, come here and I'll show you. So then he puts his hands, she stands in between his legs. He puts his hands on the backs of her knees, which like, I will swoon immediately. I might immediately pass out. And then he starts running his hands up the backs of her thighs and back down.
And then he like grabs the back of her neck and pulls her down to like her face down to his. And he's like, you said it the night we met. Just Cleo. I only want you.
Yeah.
And he's like, it could be like this from now on. You could go straight. And she's like, sounds boring. And then he does, in fact, put his finger, multiple, into her underwear and starts fingering her. And he's like, does this feel boring, sweetheart? I just love the term sweetheart. Like, it's so condescending coming out of the wrong mouth, but like this is a right mouth.
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
a right mouth.
This mouth is correct. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, then he says, we could spend every day and night together. I can give you whatever you want.
Yeah.
You won't have to steal a thing, but if you need the rush, you can take everything I have. Just stay with me.
I have that exact thing highlighted as well. And so then as he's fingering her, he's being like, look at me. And she's saying like, I'm close. And he says, stay with me. He begged.
Mm-hmm.
And he says his dick was painfully hard and he wanted nothing more than to undo his pants and replace his fingers with his shaft. But he needed an answer. He made himself a promise somewhere along the way that when he finally got inside Cleo again, he wanted it to be forever.
Forever.
Forever. And so by the end of this, he's begging her to stay with him. And then the fire alarm goes off.
The fucking fire alarm. God damn it. So he hands her back her earpiece because she took it out before she started, getting ready for the big get seduced.
The horny towns. Yeah.
And they walked downstairs, off into another room, et cetera, et cetera.
And then she uses this as an escape.
Yeah. As she was leaving, she caught one last glimpse of Robert, hands on his hips, his head bent as he listened to the hotel manager speak. His hair was partially obscuring his face. She'd remember him like this forever, she thought sadly, because she thinks this is her last time ever seeing him because she's about to disappear into the night. And when she gets back to Alex, she's like, I want to quit. And Alex is like, what? I'm sorry. Like, she looks sad and just broken. And Cleo's like, yeah, I'm done. And then she starts laughing and she's like, bitch, I love you, but I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is like particularly poignant because she and her sister have basically been on their own since they were younger. If I remember correctly, her mom died and then her dad, sort of didn't.
Yeah. And he
didn't really recover from it. Right.
Ever. Basically, if I remember right.
Yeah. So they started scamming as like children, as a team. Yeah, and this has been the way that she's provided for her younger sister.
Yeah, like they started at a convenience store, essentially.
So now, New Year's Eve, it's 2 years later, 2 weeks later. Years would be a lot.
Yeah.
It's New Year's Eve, it's 2 weeks later. Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's at the office.
We're back in Kentucky, where his office is. And he's like, I think I'm just going to sleep in my office. Like, there's no point in even going home because of all the memories I have in my bedroom and the memories I have in my garage.
She was only there for a few hours and like, I can't even, she somehow like infiltrated every room in the house and I can't be anywhere without thinking about her. And then he gets a call.
Oh my gosh. Wait.
There's been a break-in.
Hold on. The description is, for the past 2 weeks, he'd done everything he could to be away from home as much as possible so he could avoid his bedroom. For 6 months, his bed had been like a sanctuary to that one night with Cleo. But after Miami, it had become a place of mental torture.
Mental torture. So he lives in like a fancy gated community where if they think that there is a break-in and then there's no sign of a break-in, they send one of the security guards to like check things out. Okay. So he goes home. He's like, okay, I'll go home, check on this, and then come back to the office. So he does go inside the house.
And everything looks right.
Fine.
But he has a weird feeling in his tummy.
Mm-hmm. And then he goes to check the garage and he's like, am I hallucinating? That's my car. And then he goes and touches it and the engine is still warm. And he's like, everything's fine. Y'all have a good night. Yep. And like, we're locks them out of the house.
Goes up the stairs 2 at a time, goes into his room, and she is sitting there naked and cross-legged in the middle of his bed, wearing a lavender wig that matches her lavender manicure.
And she is wearing his father's watch.
Yes.
That's it. And she says, finally, I didn't have time to turn your air down. Yeah. I'm cold as fuck.
Yeah, get over here. So he's trying to be like, what's happening? And he's circling the bed being like, you're here. And she's like, yes, I am definitely here. And he's like, why though? And she says, I've got a proposition for you. And then he says, no, and then launches himself on top of her. And he's like, why are you here? She's like, I was trying to tell you. And then she smiles and he goes, don't smile. But he's thrusting on top of her with each word. Don't smile. And then it says, why are you here again? And she says, don't you want me here? And he says, you left me. Robert's voice broke and his eyes looked so sad and tired. Cleo's smile faltered. And, oh my God. She says, can I trust you? And he's like, hilarious. Can you trust me? So funny. And she's like, well, I had to take care of my sister, but I'm retired now. And he says, when? And she says, 2 weeks ago. And he says, Miami? And she says, Miami. And then he's like, I think you could leave at any point. Like, what says that you're not going to just like turn around and leave? And she says, I've never brought anybody's property back to them. Like, it's a really weird feeling.
Oh my God. Well, earlier we're in her brain and she goes, Cleo had never robbed a house in reverse and it sucked. She couldn't imagine anything that was the exact opposite of the rush she was looking for. But so it ends up with him asking her, will you stay with me? And she says, yes. Now ask me the other thing.
Yeah.
And he says, how do you want to be punished?
Ooh.
And she's like, I don't stay where I'm not wanted. I want you to make me stay. Make me want to stay. And he's like, have you ever stayed put before? And she's like, never. And he's like, neither have I. And then they start like,
and she's never felt so seen
and grinding. And he's like whispering into her cheek and her neck. He's like, please stay with me. Like,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. At another point, he's like, so what are we going to do now? And she says, I heard you were looking for a consultant. He says, I'm not. Her eyebrows lifted. You're not? He shook his head. A consultant is temporary. I need something more permanent. And then she's like, yeah? She says, I think that can be arranged. And then they do big sexy times.
Their banter though, this whole book, we didn't talk a whole lot about it, but it's like so funny. Like at one point he's like, I told you to speak nicely to me and I'd give you whatever you want. And she's like, I was nice. I'm butt-ass naked. How much nicer do I need to be? And
it's a human buffet over here.
He's like, basically tell me how you feel. Like, tell me what you want. And she's like, yes, Mr. Shimizu. I love the way your beard feels against my skin, Mr. Shimizu. Please don't stop, Mr. Shimizu. She's like, asshole.
And then he says, good girl. Now I know how to punish you. And it's by doing his beard all over her nipples. Wowza.
Well, he does that. And then he jacks himself off on top of her while she's taking for his cock.
And she's like, don't you dare.
You better fucking not.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh boy,
it's
yeah. So
good.
then they do the big sex. And
they do so much sexiness
all night. They're ringing in the new year, and then he says, "You didn't ask me if you could come." And she's like, "You said I could steal from you if I needed the thrill." He's like, "I meant my money or my cars." And she's like, "Been there, done that." Well, and then, oh God, it was just so cute because she's like, your security sucks, dude. Like, it is so bad. You didn't even change the garage opener. And he was like, I wanted you to come back.
Mm-hmm. He didn't want to change it so that she would have the key. Mm-hmm. Oh,
so then,
my God.
The end, they live happily ever after. We meet some characters
6 months
from
later,
a different
they're
book.
fucking married. Mm-hmm. And these 3 people from another book are there to be like, hey, do you know anything about this tall, thick, beautiful black woman that we can see in these grainy surveillance videos robbing banks all over Europe?
You know for a fact he saw those and he was like, let's talk about a spank bank.
That's mine. Oh my God, you're so right. So then he's like, I have no idea who that woman is. Hey, can you send in our new consultant? And so she walks in, she's in a jumpsuit for Jesus. Okay. This thing is tight, and it is a bodycon situation.
What?
Yeah. It's a serious
what does
sexy
that
jumpsuit.
mean?
Serious sexy jumpsuit. It's like a fuck off salad. Yeah. A jumpsuit for Jesus is very similar to a fuck off salad. It is something that's so serious and so like big and impressive that if that salad told you to fuck off, you would. Same with a jumpsuit for Jesus. Anyway,
all right, no further questions.
Sabrina's very confused.
So
anyway, so he's like, do you know anything about this? And she very clearly looks at herself and she's like, nope, never seen her. And they know.
Oh yeah, they immediately recognize her. They're like,
yeah.
As they're leaving, they're like, that's definitely the woman in those photos, right?
Yeah.
And they're all like, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
And like one of the newbies, I'm assuming the assistant is like, well, like, so are we gonna like
we're gonna get her
on
right?
them? And they're all like, no, we're not. Cause like we want him to owe us a favor. So
it's so good. And did I mention they're married? Because they are. It's amazing. This book was just a romp.
This book was so horny.
It was so fun.
Like,
and
cannot possibly express just how, like, our description of all of this did not even barely scratch the surface, y'all.
And we said things out loud that I've never said out loud on the podcast, including but not limited to
squelching pussy juice.
Oh, also the Squelchers, right? But is that like a gusher? Like a Squelcher is a different type of gusher? Can we send in a recommendation to whatever company owns Gushers?
I don't think you realize this is a public podcast, right?
Called like, Squelchers?
It will not take long. You just wait until there's a transcription of this episode, and then when people Google Squelcher, whatever company sells Gushers is gonna fucking be like, oh no, fucked up.
Or they'll have an amazing idea and make $1 gazillion, Sabrina. Okay.
This is not Melody's
these are business
punch
ideas.
Or whatever the fuck that thing was. Like, what was your reindeer thing?
Melody's cunt punch extravaganza.
Yep. This is
Christmas
not that.
time one.
You know what? Frankly, I think that the Squelcher idea will make you more money, which is shocking.
Nope. How dare you? I'm going to serve Squelchers at my Christmas time cunt punch extravaganza. That's going to be at the snack bar. Squelchers.
So
every time I say it makes me happier.
I did, in fact, take that a very different way when you said he'd be serving Squelchers at this cunt patch extravaganza. And I was like, damn, you want to talk about a 4D experience? Wow. Okay. All right, let's
I'm
fucking
going to come up with a snack. It's going to come out of a tube, just like a gusher, and it's going to squelch.
Whoa. What fucking gushers are you eating that it comes in a tube?
Is that not what a gusher is? Am I thinking of like a Go-Gurt?
Go-Gurt?
What's a gusher? Are gushers the thing you bite into? That's an even better squelcher.
This is more horrifying. Like... You couldn't believe I didn't know what an Orange Julius was. And now you don't know what a gusher is? You just made a whole 5-minute bit about gushers. And you don't even know what a gusher is?
Well, I thought
They're the fucking gummy fruit candies with like the inside is like liquid fruitiness.
Yeah, that's an even better squelcher. It squelches even more.
I can't believe you were thinking about Go-Gurts. Do you know how much more horrifying this is? Thinking it's a Go-Gurt?
Well, it would be more of a projectile experience, yeah.
You know Go-Gurt is yogurt, right?
I've never had a Go-Gurt, but that's my understanding.
Well, it's yogurt. It's yogurt. But like you literally could not make
pretty
a more direct correlation to just like Finley Fen levels of jizz.
Yeah, buckets of cum. Yeah.
But worse. Because it's going to be
yogurt.
Thick.
Oh, that honeycomb is thick.
It's also going to be fake blueberry flavored.
That's really where Sabrina's final line is.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the thick cum. It's the fact that, to be clear, I'm fine with peppermint flavored cum. I'm fine with pumpkin flavored cum. If you haven't read Layla Faye, go read Layla Faye, my friends.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that, but it's the fake blueberry. I can't do the fake blueberry. That's a travesty. That's painful, right? Like, that's bad. That hurts me on a level. I'd rather go through the cunt punch extravaganza than suck blueberry flavored yogurt cum out of somebody's penis tube. Like, or their vulva hole. You know what I mean? Like,
man, remember, like, we are the poshest podcasters. We really are. These posh ladies.
Is this enough proof? I haven't heard from anyone. I don't even think that episode is out yet. But like, this is a great example of shit that you could send me. I do ask for receipts on Melody being polite and posh from podcast. So
yeah, because we're super posh, and you know that all started.
I have
with
nothing.
Me.
I never claimed that I'm posh or polite, or if I did, I was lying.
Well, now that I know what a gusher is,
do you?
I'm a lot more excited about Squelchers.
I am still not 100% certain that you know what a gusher is.
It's a gummy you bite into and it squirts liquid. That's what a gusher is. And I think that's even more squelchy.
Liquid is a generous term, but yeah.
Squelchers.
That's why it made sense to me, but I also knew what a gusher was. Anyway.
I'm just glad we're on the same page now, so we can go into product development.
This is all you, baby.
Anyway. Sabrina, what's your lady love?
I remembered what it was until this gusher conversation.
Now, is it Gushers?
I think it's being an adult and being able to buy what I want with my money, which means that, yes, sometimes I do come home with a 40-pack of Gushers when I go to the store. And I just eat Gushers for like weeks.
Yeah, I love that.
Or like fruit roll-ups. All the stuff that like, well, I don't know. Did you all grow up where you could just have Gushers and fruit roll-ups whenever you wanted? Because I didn't.
No, I did not.
That was a treat.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a treat. And so I do, in fact, really, my lady love is being in control of my own finances. It's also my anti-lady love because sometimes I really need somebody else to take over.
Sometimes we go feral.
Yeah. So that's my lady love.
I love that. My lady love was going to be Anna Huang's Twisted Hole, being in it. But I already talked about that. And so
don't like that terminology.
I can't say anything right.
You can't, not tonight. You took that right with the Gushers and the Squelchers, and then you threw it in the trash. You ripped that puppy up.
Are such a good idea.
I legitimately, though, when you said Anna Huang's Twisted Hole, I was like,
well, she's just Anna Huang wrote the Twisted series.
I get it now. I understand.
I've been in that twisty hole. I went down the rabbit hole.
We just spent like 10 minutes talking about unexpectedly, unbeknownst to me, Go-Gurt cum. Okay, the term "twisted hole."
Not.
For you, it was.
Well, just for a minute.
That's why I said a minute. What the fuck kind of neurodivergent time blindness is that? A minute?
Wow.
That was not a minute, my friend. I I'm neurospicy and I'm time blind as fuck. If I'm calling you out on it, it's bad, okay?
Yeah, you're right. Okay. I've already talked about how much I've enjoyed my rabbit hole into the Twisted series, which might also be referred to as being in Anna Huang's Twisted Hole. I see why now. I see it. And I will retract it. Instead, what?
So you legitimately just thought I was being irrational, like upset for no reason? Okay.
I did.
All right.
I thought you were being picky.
I was not being picky.
Just call me Jessica Hare. You know what I mean? So my actual lady love. God damn it. Oh, I can't believe I had to say it again to see it. Oh, boy.
Between the two of us, we've said it out loud no less than like 6 or 7 times.
Anna Huang, I'm sorry. You're great.
No, don't apologize. I've been talking about Eloisa James's hole for like 2 months.
That's true. That's true.
Yours was quality over quantity, right? Your phrase was...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So instead, my lady love is knockoff Candy Cane Peppermint Oreos from Aldi. They're the Benton's Oreos that are Oreos, except the filling is actual filling with the crunchy, tiny little specks of peppermint candy cane in there. Candy Cane Oreos. Turns out they're the best, especially if they're knockoffs. And so they're like $1.99 instead of $5.99.
I fully support this lady love. To be clear, it's one of the only things that apparently I've supported that has left your mouth in like 3 episodes. Because I have been an asshole to you about it.
You have not.
But that sounds amazing. And like, I'm just
Do you not have anything like that near you?
I would not be sad if one thing of that just showed up.
Is something showed up at your door?
In my mailbox, yeah.
You know what? I have to resend you that other thing I tried to send you and apparently didn't show up at your house. So I will include one of those next time. All right. Keep being a badass.
And love yourself.
Love yourself as much as you love just biting into a squelcher.
No. Don't co-sign this. Love yourself as much as you love. God, I can't think of anything else now.
Anna Huang's Twisty Hole.
No, my God. Oh, Lord. Love yourself as much as you love. We had so many funny tangential
I can't think
moments.
Of a single other funny thing we've said other than Squelchers.
We literally spent
like
20 minutes laughing at the beginning of this episode for reasons that are just, they don't exist anymore.
They're gone in my mind. No, they're gone.
You know what? Fuck it. Love yourself as much as you love showing him the tiniest little bit of cum left in your mouth.
Yikes.
Before you guzzle that puppy down.
Wow.
That's a bold one.
It's just show and tell time, I think.
You know what? Love yourself as much as you love honey slicked petals.
Okay. All right. Love yourself more than that. Okay. See you next week. Bye.
Bye. Heaving Bosoms is produced by us, Melody Carlisle and Sabrina Bradley. Editing is done by Melody Carlisle.
Our theme music is by the incredible singer-songwriter Brittany Fonts, and our art is by ultra-talented author Kate Pryor. If you like our show, remember to follow us on your favorite podcast app, rate us 5 stars, leave a nice review, and of course, tell all your friends about us, even if they don't read romance.
If you want to get in touch, you can email us at heavingbosomspodcast@gmail.com. If you want more of us, visit patreon.com/heavingbosomspodcast. You can also find us on Instagram at Heaving Bosoms, on TikTok at Heaving_Bosoms, and in our Facebook group, the Heaving Bosoms Geriatric Friendship Cult.
Head over to our website to sign up for our newsletter, get our Reading Embrace printable, and check out my audiobooks at heavingbosoms.com. All right, We'll be back next week with more swoons and snark. See you then.